Hello, everybody. It's Real Shade here again. It's, here we are. We're on YouTube and Twitch this week. What a fabulous change of circumstance. Thanks very much for joining us. We're here once again this Sunday, as most every Sunday, talking about movies, bullshitting about movies, ranting and criticizing good movies that people have long held dear for many years, destroying them in one mighty swoop. And I hope you are here to join us, to comment and to join in the love of maybe some of the movies. This week, we will be reviewing the time-honored classic of Dumb and Dumber. It was Darren's pick this week.
Yes, it was. Amen to that.
And
if you couldn't tell.
Yeah. Well, he's in the regalia, the Dumb and Dumber regalia. So if you don't know, we're Real Shade. We're on episode 11. My name is Jamie. That's Darren over there in the orange. There's Derry up there in the top left-hand side. And then in the middle, that's a past video of Derry. Raise your hands, Derry, so everybody can... Whoa, look! There's three of our hands on the screen.
Here's one I made earlier.
Woo! So, check up in the middle of the screen for all the fabulous art that's going on. It's in the theme of Dumb and Dumber this week. So enjoy. I hope you enjoy the drawing as we prattle along tonight. So, Darren, your pick of Dumb and Dumber from 1994. I'm going to give a little bit of a read of the IMDb description, and then we'll get stuck in. Remember to subscribe, like, join, thumbs up, all of the good stuff on all of the social networks, and tell your friends. So, we're going to dive right in to a lovely little description of Dumb and Dumber from our friend IMDb. After a woman leaves a briefcase at an airport terminal, a dumb limo driver and his dumber friend set out on a hilarious cross-country trip to Aspen to return it. That's pretty good. That sums up the movie. Not too shabby, I would say.
Did you say that was IMDb?
It's IMDb, yeah.
Okay, all right.
But in fairness,
before, but I would give it that.
There's not too much to say. That's pretty much the movie, in fairness. A long movie. Beautiful. A long movie. What, an hour and 47 minutes? It's like, I completely forget. I think, this is like an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half, maybe. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is coming near to 2 hours of Dumb and Dumber. It feels like two separate movies. I don't know if you guys got that feeling. Like there was the first hour was literally the trip, and the second hour was like a whole other weird millionaires movie. So let's get stuck in. We'll give Darren the floor and just give us a little smidgen, a little taste of why you picked it this week, Darren.
Right, before I do that, I'm just going to take a sup of my bowl, my loudmouth soup.
Oh yeah, I love that little that line.
Well, do you know what?
I really thought you were going to do.
Just get out of here.
No, you've lost me for the rest of the podcast now. No, sorry.
Whistle, yeah. With that whistle of yours.
Yeah, but you know, I always felt that this movie wasn't long enough because I could watch this movie forever and ever and ever. Well, IMDb actually said it pretty well. Like, it's a simple story. It really is like with two stupid friends. But for years, I only watched this again recently, and there was I don't know, maybe ye knew this, but I didn't. I always wondered who was dumb and who was dumber. And from watching it again, clearly Jim Carrey is the dumber friend.
I agree.
Yeah, and I never really gave it much thought, but it was always a question in my fucking mind. I was like, who actually is Dumb and Dumber? Well, clearly we get what happened. We get, and it's very, now I feel very dumb because it's really, it's showing, perfectly through the whole movie. Who's the fucking stupider? See, stupider. This is happening right now.
I'm sure enough people say the word stupider for it to be a word, but I think it's like the whole film is like a competition. You're like, oh my God, how stupid could they be? And then you're like, oh, that's a smart move. I'm like, oh no, wait, he's still an idiot.
No, well, I think Jim Carrey is dumber in it, but then again, you have Jeff Daniels has these moments where he does like the fucking tongue on the ice and like, you know, how shit himself in the bathroom and like, you know, he has his moments. They're as good as each other.
Yeah.
The reason I picked this movie, lads, is because this is my childhood. This was maybe not the finest movie to watch as a child, but you know, it's what it is. You know, that's why I am today. But like this just
that's where you got
happy.
your that's where you got your rapist wit out of.
This is where I got my rapist wit. Yeah, this like above all, this movie makes me smile. It's a movie that when I watch, I know no matter how many times I've seen it, which is too many now, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to sit down. It's easy watch. It's funny. To me, it's fucking timeless. And then let's not talk about those other two movies that came out. But anyway.
Well, I'm sure we'll bring them up throughout the whole entire thing because I haven't seen them. I've seen Dumb and Dumber. It's like one of those staples when you're like a teenager to see kind of a stupid comedy.
Go on, sorry, go on.
No, I was just about to say, like it's what go ahead. Go ahead.
No, what I do is for my next two picks, I'll probably do. I shouldn't do it. Dumb and Dumber and then Dumb and Dumber 2. Just keep me looking at her. I know. Fucking way am I ever going to do those movies. No, the reason I would pick these movies is because it's just fun and it's a great story, which. Like, I know it's funny and blah, 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 but it's actually a good story. It's a nicely told story. Two amazing actors. Most of the actors in this are fantastic actors. Great cast.
Well, it reminds me a lot of those Marx Brother films where you got a lot of straight actors. You got a lot of like proper actors. They're like acting as if they're in a drama. And then you got the two bumbling idiots walking around, and it just makes it a lot funnier because you just see them acting so stupid around these normal-looking people.
Yeah. Well, very, very little in this movie that the lads, exactly what you just said there, Jamie. The lads are not basically. There's very little times that they're actually trying to get laughs. Like a lot of the jokes are told straight, and it's funnier that way. Like when he says, she says, "I wasn't paying enough attention to her. I don't know, something I want to listen to her." You know, like. A lot of jokes that are told in it are told just so deadpan. That's why they're so funny.
I agree. I think it's just the way that they're such a good actor or actors. It just comes across as they're not trying to ham it up. Like I feel like a Seth Rogen or like a Steve Carell in this role or something like that, or like a Paul Rudd. They're really good at their jokes, but they'd be like. Give it up. These are nice little one-liners, and some of it feels ad-lib, some of it doesn't. But I think just the chemistry between the two actors just makes it work so well.
That's in Dumb and Dumber 2 and the prequel. That's what happens exactly through the whole movie. They're trying to get you to laugh, and it's not funny whatsoever. And it's those movies. Even though they tried to be a sequel and a prequel to this. You wouldn't even think, because they had the same actors in it, obviously you'd know there was a sequel, but you'd never think that they were even in the same fucking universe.
I think comedy has changed a lot since the 90s as well. Like this reminds me, even the soundtrack of the movie and the way it's shot reminds me of, have you ever seen Multiplicity with Michael Keaton?
Fucking amazing movie.
But it's like all these 90s movies have this really cheesy music in it. There's like a lot of 90s tropes in it. Yeah, a lot. There's like
that was it. It's that like indie 90s indie type.
They Will Be Giants. Is that song?
Oh no, that's Crash Test Dummies.
Crash Test Dummies. That's it. Yeah. For shame. So, Derry, as a person that you kind of like comedies. You like comedies.
I'm glad you introduced me that way. I'm glad you introduced me that way because you get me. You know this. I am a horror fan. I am a fantasy and a thriller fan. And a few things might have happened this week, right? Either I'm not at my fill of horror where I need a break from it to go to comedy, or I'm just over the whole Dumb and Dumber thing. I'm not sure which happened, that I just wasn't in the mood for comedy yet, or I'm just over Dumb and Dumber.
See, and again, I feel like this week I'm going to maybe be a little bit in agreement with Derry in some aspects. I remember this film being a lot funnier, but let's get into it. So we start at the very start. Actually, we don't even start at the very start. And where I say is the start is the credit roll. We don't even have any of that. That's gone. Credit roll. We have Jim Carrey driving down the road in a limousine. It is so 80s. It's so 80s and below, and I like that. But no, we don't. We just get an introduction. We get the limousine coming in, and he has that ridiculous joke. What I like about this part of it actually is when the limousine drives over, and it stops for a minute, and then he gets out the back of the window, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just on my way to a lecture," but he's actually the driver. I would love to do that. I would love to hire a limo, like reverse it up, get into the back, and be like, "Oh, hello. What does he say to your one? Oh, nice accent. Where are you from?"
That's a lovely accent you have. New Jersey? Austria. Well then. G'day, mate. Let's not.
So it's a bit cringe, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, but pays off very well. Lovely introduction into pretty much the first actor or character in the film, being a ridiculous idiot. Didn't he actually chip his tooth on that?
No, Jim Carrey actually has a chipped tooth. He has a cap on his tooth since he's like 21 or something. But he actually, originally when they were filming the movie and did the poster, he had his cap on. But he said, I want to take it out for filming, just to make him look as stupid as possible. Like, that's why they were cutting his hair and they were giving him a nice hairstyle. He was supposed to just play a normal guy, but dummy, obviously. And he said no. He just, like, before they started filming, he thought it'd be funny. He must have been a fucking nightmare to work with.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because before he filmed, he had cut his fringe off, as you see it, right? A really bad job. And he walked out and said to the director that the hairstylist did this to me. But in front of her, and she was like, "What?" He was like, and he started laughing. He was like, "No." But he left, like a normal guy, would be like, I'm only joking with you. Jim left the director, the Farrellys, give out to her for like 10 minutes before he jumped in and said, I was only joking. Like, what a dickhead! Like,
he seems like it, not like, especially nowadays, he's all gone a little bit artsy fartsy. But yeah, he seems like an absolute nightmare. But by Jesus, does he have talent? He has a lot of talent.
I mean, that's what you got to pay for it, right? If you want to work with someone of that caliber, you got to put up with some eccentricities. Like,
well, look, as I said to you, Jeff Daniels only got paid 50 grand for it, which is a fact, and Jim Carrey got paid 7 million, which is mind-blowingly fucking strange. That day.
How guilty! I would feel so guilty if I was paid that much more than my co-star.
I'd have enough money not to feel guilty. I'd be okay with that.
Fair point.
But that's not even like a small bit more. That's like 7 million compared to, like, your man didn't get paid $1 million for it, and the movie made 200 million at the box office. I'm like, I don't get it. But look, Jeff Daniels wanted to work with Jim, and he wanted to do the movie. And his agent, as I said to you, said, "Don't do it, do not do it," and he did it. So look where he is now. You know what I mean?
I've actually never seen a lot of films with Jeff Daniels in it, and I think the last thing that I seen.
You have. You just haven't realised.
But he's straight laced. Like, I seen him on an ad for a show on Sky Atlantic where he was like a journalist in it, and he was like a really hard cutting journalist. I was like, that's Jeff Daniels.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
show. He won an Emmy for that.
Oh, is it? It's good. I actually haven't seen it. Again, I don't know if my brain can separate the shitting and tossing it out the window from like Jeff Daniels.
He's in Way Home, and he's in 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah,
haven't seen him.
That's the side of a good actor. Any actor can do comedy, or any actor can do a straight movie, like a good movie, like, a normal actor movie. And if you can do straight and comedy, you're fucking golden. Look at Rob Williams.
Well, look at Jim Carrey. Look at Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Like, how the fuck is this guy in Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind?
We're going to get into a whole other conversation right now and I won't do it. I'll give a small snippet. I think Jim Carrey should be given much more credit for his serious work than he does for his comedy. Like, the guy, forget that I'm a fan, but as a fucking guy who sees acting ability, not that I would fucking know much about it, but like he's working his like even in the what's the show? Oh my god, Mr.
Robot, is it? Or
no, the new one. Where he plays Jeff Pickles. It's a series show that it's a children's entertainer. It's a fucking brilliant show.
Oh, is it a TV show?
Yeah, he did a show.
Oh.
It's fucking, it's so weird and fucking, but he's not trying to do a comedy show. It's like totally just deadpan serious, but he's kind of, there's something wrong with him up there. He's mental problems. But it's just...
Jim Carrey. Just in general, Jim Carrey has mental problems.
It's called Mr. Pickles. It's fucking brilliant. It's amazing. Like, because we've all seen Jim Carrey do comedy. We all know that he's funny and blah blah blah. But now he's after, like, I would watch him in more serious roles than I would in comedy. Like the number 26, number 20 is 23, number 23.
Yeah.
Have any of you seen this movie?
No, I've heard of it. It's kind of a joke. I heard he sees the number 23 everywhere and he thinks that our world is going to end or something.
The whole meaning to it. The ending to it is spectacular. I would recommend you go watch it. You're not going to buy. I would recommend you.
No, I actually will, because that's a film that kind of interests me. What was the film you were saying there, Derry, about Ryan? Is it Ryan Gosling stuck in a box?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
it's stuck in a box.
Buried the other night.
What a fucking... that movie gave me claustrophobia.
Yeah, the camera angles and the way it's shot and everything is just fantastic.
But I don't watch that many modern films. But if you were to say, Ryan Reynolds stuck in a box, I'm just like, that sounds fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. You and Ryan Reynolds in a box for an hour and a half. Who's going to say no to that? Come on.
No, you're not in the box with him, Derry. Don't worry.
Oh, it feels like it.
You just close your eyes and like, we're here together in the box.
It's just us.
Yeah. And there's Uma Thurman trying to get out.
Yeah. No, that's a good movie there. Buried. It's fucking great.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Any kind of a film, any kind of a film where it has a weird aspect to it, like The Lighthouse. That really kind of blew me away just with the concept of it, and then I watched it and I was like, there wasn't that much to that. But Dumb and Dumber
and William H. Macy. I know.
William Dafoe. Yeah. William Dafoe. My God. Spider-Man. Hey, Peter. No, it's a really good film, and a lot of gay overtones in it. But it's artsy. You got to do that.
It's like an artsy Brokeback Mountain.
Oh my God, we both said at the same time. Come here. Do you know a little bit of trivia for you? You know the movie to Dumb and Dumber was, but it was coming out. You had to change it though. It was actually just. You ever see the picture of the two lads sitting on the park bench with the wet paint sign on the back of it? And they're looking up. They actually, because New Line Cinema, I think they were in conjunction with Forrest Gump as well, and that's the movie poster, Forrest Gump. They had to change it to this. What you see now, but in the original picture of this, Jim Carrey he has the cap on his tooth. He didn't take it out, and Jeff Daniels has like a big depressed look on his face, so it wasn't as funny. But everything is different. They were getting sued because they thought they ripped off the poster of Forrest Gump.
Oh my God!
They outsold Forrest Gump. They like destroyed it at the box office and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that's a surprise, especially for the type of film. But again, like I said at the time, these were kind of a lot of films like this were coming out where it's kind of those adult films, adult comedies, but they're not as outrageous as your Hangovers or your whatever, like all the Paul Rudd, like all of the kind of early mid 2000s with Paul Rudd, Seth Rogen, Steve Carell. I'm kind of ragging on those guys today, but you know those kind of films. Where they're basically just saying...
Steve Carell now would be very different to...
Now he is.
Steve Carell.
40-year-old virgin.
He's a very straight comedy actor.
Yeah. He's the one of those guys, again, who can do straight acting and who can do comedy. But, like, lads, if you ever want to find out how good Steve Carell is, check out his audition for Anchorman. Just check out his audition for it. And he said one line on the page they gave him. It's basically, the part where he's eating the burrito as he thinks it's a fucking burrito, but it's actually out of the trash bin. He's eating like cigarette.
No, that's not that. You're thinking of Anchorman.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about 40-year-old virgin. Sorry.
He totally improvised that whole bit.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
That's how good of an actor. He's fucking amazing, Steve Carell. I love Steve Carell forever. He'll always be good to me.
I guess he's a more straight-laced, but I was talking about like your Seth Rogans and stuff like that, where it's just like, pussy ass cunt, I smoke a load of weed. Whereas these are more kind of a little bit more tempered. Even Jim Carrey in this doesn't seem as animated as he would be in Ace Ventura or even Liar Liar, when that's a very fairly straight film.
And I think maybe that could be why I wasn't too locked into it this time around. Like I felt like I found that because I like Jim Carrey and I like the overacting and the dramatic sort of comedy. Maybe this being a slapstick, but not being sort of in your face, over the top slapstick, it kind of left me in the middle somewhere.
I think Ace Ventura is all about the whole. It's every move, because he said to the director before I started Ace Ventura, he said to a man, he walked on set and said, "Are you sure?" Your man said, "Yeah." He says, "Because it's commitment, baby." The man said, "Why?" But your man hadn't understood what he was saying, and your man wanted.
I bet he learned pretty fast.
He learned pretty fast.
But like, imagine, but I can't imagine Jim Carrey being like that in this, because Jeff Daniels would have been absolutely left in the shadows.
Yeah.
So I think they were like, "Please tone it down, Jim. Tone it down. Jeff is still there. He is another part of this film."
No, I think Jim had to turn it up for Jeff Daniels, because if you look at certain scenes, even when they're eating the peppers, and Jeff Daniels goes fucking bananas, I think Jim has to match Jeff Daniels' energy in this, and that's like saying a lot. Like, I really think they're both as good as each other. I would never, I'm a big Jim Carrey fan, obviously, but I think I love them both equally in this movie. Love them both equally in the movie. I think they're I think they both shine. They don't shine each other out. I think they both have their own moments, and it's what makes a great movie, because they're both. It's like someone. It's like one person wrote the two parts. There was like two people writing the fucking two parts, but it's they're just perfectly written, the two parts. There's no, I don't think Jim is funnier than Jeff, and Jeff is funnier than Jim.
It's so well written that again they just feel like good friends from the get-go. They just feel like they know each other years. Again, we don't need Dumb and Dumberer to explain why they're friends and everything. I think they're well acted out, and they're not even two-dimensional characters, because I think you're expecting them to be idiots and don't have a lot of stuff going on there. So that's kind of thrown to the wind for the most of the film. But like Darry said, I was kind of, again, just from thinking about Jim Carrey movies, I was like, okay, I'm in for a Jim Carrey movie here, and I was like, oh wow, I forgot how, in my opinion, he was a little bit relaxed. Jeff Daniels, like you said, was a little bit more bumped up, because now he's actually like a straight-laced actor. So when we get over to Jeff Daniels, he's like in that they call it a sheepdog car. It looks like a Labrador to me, but that's just neither here nor there. He's giving out the sandwiches. I like his introduction a lot more. I like Jeff Daniels' introduction a lot more. I actually prefer Jeff Daniels in this movie a little bit more than I do Jim Carrey.
Yeah. See, they put Jeff Daniels in because they wrote him into the... they basically, exactly what everyone thought. They thought Jim Carrey was going to outshine him. And they said it. And they said it to Jeff. They're like, "We want to amp your character up more. We want to give you the mad hair. They want to give you the mad hairstyle. They want to tell you this." And they were like, and then they were thinking of him as the actor that he is, that he's like a proper actor. And they're like, then they had changed the whole script to where he wasn't as funny and blah, blah. He said, no. You need to do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. So that's why he ended up in the dog outfit. And when he kept doing this to his hair and stuff, because he just wanted to, like he said, when you give me a straight-laced part where you don't make it as funny, he goes, make it as funny as you want. Make me as stupid as you want to make me. And that's what I give credit, because he really just wanted to fucking go all out for this movie. But like, credit to the Farrelly brothers. They were, I think it's shitty on the Farrelly brothers that they were taught that Jim was going to outshine him. They didn't fully.
It's not unreasonable. This is like the height of Jim Carrey, when he's literally shoving himself off of fucking walls and jumping around the place, being crazy.
Yeah, but they wanted Jim, and Jim was basically who they wanted for this movie the very first time, who was originally cast in the movie. Well, who was asked was Gary Oldman, Nicolas Cage. It would have been a whole different movie.
Gary Oldman and Nicolas Cage. Oh my God, what a horrible film.
Yeah. And the movie was going to be called What Not to Do with Power Tools. And then it was also
I like
changed.
the title though. I prefer that title.
Yeah, but it was also changed to Dusk to Dusk. It was supposed to be about two guys who work in a funeral home. That's what basically the premise of the whole first movie was. And then obviously changed to Dumb and Dumber to the movie we love now.
Oh, well, I like that little tidbit there, Darren. Very nice. Our introduction is fairly quick. We get your two characters pretty much straightforward. You get your 90s credit roll in all its colorful glory. And we're pretty much into the premise of the film. So Jim Carrey is Lloyd is a limousine driver, and he's going to pick up this lovely lady at this big fancy house and instantly falls in love with her. And that's pretty much the plot of the film, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty much everything you need to know about, like, the whole reasoning behind anything. True. Like, they travel 2,000 miles for this lady he meets for like 15, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour during the trip. He's bringing her to the airport, and he asks her, "Why is traveling somewhere?
Why are you going to the airport? You flying somewhere?"
Flying somewhere? Yes.
How'd you know? I saw your airline ticket, and when I saw the luggage, I put two together.
He's like turning around. Actually, there's a really good part in that when he turns around and he's talking to her, and there's like cars, woo! But when it turns back to your one, there's like a huge explosion in the background. It's like this big massive like fireball that basically gets created. I'm like, okay, that was pretty good.
There's a thing here that they always used to do in movies that used to drive me crazy. They've gotten better at not doing it, but it's this.
Oh, that thing.
No one drives like that, and if you did, you would be arrested.
Yeah.
Your car would.
What you were watching, what movie, what TV show, 90s especially, they drove like this.
Like, we want to see some more animation in your hands. Pretend you're driving.
It's gotten much better, but that was a big pet peeve of mine with older movies.
The fake driving, effectively. Yeah. They have a little bit of an intimate moment in the terminal of the airport, and creepy hugging. Very creepy hugging. But she's totally fine with this. She's completely fine. She's like fine with
it. She looks horrified.
But she's like, okay, thanks. Like, she's not like, leave me away, you asshole. She's like, okay, I'm kind of putting up with this, basically.
She's weirded out by it, but
she's totally fucking weirded out by it. Because when she turns around, he has his arms out of this. How about a hug?
I hate goodbyes. So,
I hate goodbyes.
She goes into the airport, and again, there's not really much information what's going on. You kind of understand that she's, I don't know, a little bit anxious. She drops down the suitcase. Just before that, you see two bad guys, a big Italian man, and like a kind of a Latino lady. I don't know where she would be. Maybe, I don't know, Dominican Republic. I can venture a guess.
Karen Duffy. I don't know Karen Duffy, who else she's ever done, but Mike Starr is still going well and strong.
Yeah, he's really good. Actually, I've seen a film with him in recently, Cabin Boy, and he plays a giant with a suit. So the premise is set up is that she's leaving a suitcase there with something in it for these two, I don't know, goons to basically pick up. Jim Carrey sees it from outside, and he's like a big massive what do you call it, airbag has blown up. He's like knocked into the back of the car. And he decides to swoop in at the last moment and get the briefcase. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But then he starts trying to eat it when he fucking sees that she's after leaving it there.
Well, my favorite part is when he starts running in and he goes, "Don't worry, I'm a limo driver." And he goes, "No, sorry, you can't go in there." And then he basically just goes, "Oh!" out the terminal, out the little kind of exit for the
bit
train.
like after that, when I think does he ring Harry after that? Or wait, hang on, which is Harry and which is Lloyd? I don't even know anymore.
Lloyd is Jim Carrey.
When he rings, he goes, "Yeah, I fell off again." You're like,
no,
again? How many times have you done this?
Yeah, that's when they basically make their way back to the house, and they're like living in this slum place. And then he says, "Oh, I fell off it again." I'm like, how often does that happen? And why didn't you see the big massive no plane there?
It just reminds me of like that Family Guy thing at Quagmire, and he's like, "Hello, 911? Yeah, it's stuck in the window again." Obviously, this is a very common occurrence.
So we get there.
They didn't even. They're so oblivious that when Harry pulls up in the van and Lloyd pulls up in taxi, and only when they get to where the screenshot is now, they notice each other. They don't even notice each other when they're walking up. He's like, "Oh, hi Harry, hi Lloyd, how you doing?"
Fell off the gangway again today.
Yeah.
The two goons are basically tailing Harry and Lloyd. They're like, "Okay, that briefcase is mine." You see their crappy apartment, and then they have a bit of a discussion. Basically, they both get fired. What was it? Harry brings a dog, like his big dog car, with the dogs in it to a pageant for dogs, and they're all covered in mustard and everything. He was feeding them hot dogs because he wanted to make sure that they were properly fed before they were shown off or whatever.
Good citizen.
Yeah.
He paid them, he clips them, and he sells them. But you might want to run a comb through them.
So we get into the house, and so Jim Carrey basically is like, "Yeah, I got fired," and then Harry's like, "Yeah, I got fired." It's like, "Wow, you're a real loser, aren't you, Harry?"
They always freak out when you leave the scene of an accident.
So they get
my job too. Man, you're one pathetic loser, aren't you? I'm gonna quote the whole fucking movie. Sorry.
Do it. I didn't include it in the subtitles. I knew you'd have it straight away anyway. So there's a knock. There's a knock on the door. And what does he turn around and go, "Harry, did you pay the gas bill?"
Do you
no.
realize what you've done?
There's two of them out there. One of them has a gun. Yeah. So they escape. And again, it's like done really quickly. It's a fairly quick entrance into the whole plot of the film. That effectively gets them out of the hotel for the goons to come in and kill the bird, the little budgie.
Petey.
Oh, Petey. Gets his head ripped off. And then later on, Jeff is like, "Petey's dead. He was old. His head fell off."
There's an uncut version of this where you see this. It's weird. There's three versions I've seen. The version that's normal where you don't see it and it cuts straight to the lads. The version which is like uncut. I've seen two uncut versions. One is where you see him snap the neck, and then another one you hear him snap the neck. You just see the girl Karen Duffy, JP Shea's reaction to that. She just looks like snapping. But you do see him snap the bird's neck in one of the versions I'm after watching, which is fucking terrible. Which is awful.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. And that's a call. Like later on, when the snow owl gets shot, they're like, we killed their bird, and of course they wanted to show revenge. I was like, what the fuck?
Fucking brilliant.
Giving motives to these people.
Killed their birds.
So they escape. So they escape the apartment and try and look for jobs effectively.
Yeah.
But they can't because they're all 40-hour work weeks.
Yeah. Just get the bare essentials. That's the last of our dough. What do I look like?
Gets robbed by a little old lady.
Set up for later on, though, to show that they have absolutely zero money management. So if they get the money that's in the case, it's very obvious. You should know from that scene that they're going to go absolutely nuts with it.
But they have all the best intentions in the world. That's all that matters.
What did he buy? Like two cases of beer and some pinwheels and a giant cowboy hat.
And glasses. And he tries to buy the Rhode Island slut.
Are they just selling porn on the streets?
I still don't understand how he done that with his fucking wallet. It was not even a magazine, it's a fucking paper. It's like a paper pornographic magazine thing.
Yeah.
I don't fucking understand.
It's like a newspaper of in the world of porn. What's it new in the world of porn today?
Oh,
So
fuck.
they escape, and they basically find out that the best thing that they could do is go to Aspen. They don't have any jobs. They don't have anything to look for. And Harry or Lloyd,
Skipped over my favorite scene in the whole movie. See, this is why you have me here.
That's why I have you here,
What
Darren.
the old woman?
See, there he got. There, he like got robbed by a sweet old lady in a motorized cart, and he didn't even see it coming.
I didn't even see it coming.
I didn't even see it coming. But this to me is, again, I keep on about Jim Carrey being a good actor, and the bit where he's like over the window. And even when I seen this years ago, I thought it was great acting. Like how they can make it, like how he can almost start crying on cue. You know what I mean? But like again, that's the whole thing. He says, what's he say to him? I want to go where the beer flows like wine, where the women instinctively flock like the salmon at Capistrano. I'm talking about a little place called Aspen. I don't know, Lloyd. The French are assholes.
Where does he think it is? California? Where the hell is Aspen? Colorado? It's the Rocky Mountains.
The Rocky
That would be
Mountains.
Colorado, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Colorado.
Yeah, it's in Colorado. Yeah, it's in Colorado.
Yeah. Aspen.
John Denver's.
I just remember that Scrubs episode where they had an ass pen.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that pen that got stuck in that guy's ass, and then Turk gives it to what's her name? Ass pen. So they escape. They run away, and they unwittingly escape the goons that have come to basically kill them effectively, or like get the goons at this point think that Harry and Lloyd are like these smart like FBI agents or whatever, like they're in on it.
Yeah, but it's written so well. Like even the little note they leave him is like, "Dear gas man, how the hell did they know that I got gas?" And
they must have been following us for months.
They gotta be pros. It's, as I said, the movie is so fucking cleverly written. It's brilliantly written.
It's very well done, and what I like about it is it kind of keeps it quick, and there's not a whole lot of time spent like faffing about. Yeah. It's just on.
It's quick jokes. It's just like I said, a lot of the jokes I didn't get years ago, but it just moves at such a quick pace that you either get it or you don't get it. And fucking let's move on.
He does that thing where he's running in the car as well, where he's like, actually, I love doing that on the bus. Looks like I'm running at an incredible speed.
It's like you're running in a car, right, Harry?
And then we get the blind kid with the bird.
Petey. Look, Petey. Blind Billy from 4C. I sold some stuff. What did you sell him? A sack of marbles, a few baseball cards. Petey. I sold my dead bird to a blind. Petey didn't even have a head. Harry, I took care of it.
It's like sellotaped on. It's like the worst thing ever. It's like the chunk of sellotape. Who's a pretty bird? Who's a pretty bird?
But in the sequel, they got the same guy to come back, and they do another one or two jokes with him in it. So like, oh right, let's not go into because I'll talk about that for fucking hours too. But that's
the thing, like they don't need to bring that guy back. They didn't really need to bring him back. Do they? I bet they used the same joke. Do they use a blind joke in it?
You know what, Jamie? That's bad. That shows how bad it is that you actually never saw the movie and you watched. Like they walk up and they literally get out of a taxi, and they get up to exactly where you see them meeting in the first movie, and then he says, "Is that Billy from 4C?" He says, "Yeah." So your man says, so all of a sudden you don't see them, and you see him talking to the bird, and he's like doing an impression with the bird, and then they jump at him and they frighten the shit out of him. And it's like they do a lot of blind jokes. It's not even cleverly fucking written anymore. It's just bad. And any of you guys on Twitch watching this, any of you viewers are watching it and say to me that Dumb and Dumber 2 is good, shame on you.
Shame. But that's the problem with bringing that film back. If you're not going to do something new, why the hell? What's the point? Like they literally bring back characters that had a joke. They were there for a joke, basically. And then it comes back later as a follow-up joke, which is fine.
Yeah.
They don't need to be a character.
Emma Stone loved, and or not Emma Stone, sorry, Jennifer Lawrence fucking loved Dumb and Dumber, and she asked could she be in the movie, and they gave her the part of Harry's daughter, and she read the script and immediately told her agent that she didn't want to do it. Immediately, if you love something so much, you'll just do it anyway, though, to be involved in it. But if you read the script and it was that bad that you said. No, it's like it, lads. I have a deep found love for this movie, and I promise to you, don't ever fucking watch because it almost ruined this movie for me. It'll ruin the fucking movie for you. I promise you.
That's the worst part of it. It's like it poisons the past. You know, like when you see a sequel, you're like, the film has been poisoned now, and you're like, oh, that character comes back, and
when you're invested in something, especially, and like. I can relate because I was such a huge Game of Thrones fan. And then the last season, I don't even want to go back and watch the earlier seasons. I can't even read the books anymore. I'm so hurt. You know?
See, you talk to me about Game of Thrones. You were the first one in where we worked, and you were the first one to talk to me about it. And you actually made me kind of want to watch it because you talked about the characters in depth so much. You talked about and I did. And I watched the first season. And I had watched the first season. I was like, actually, you know what? It's not the greatest show I've ever seen, but it's definitely worth keeping up with. So I continued on with it. And then I had heard what had happened the last season, and it poisoned me. I was like, there, I lost every ounce of wanting to watch. I just like, no, I can't.
But this is the problem. This was the problem with that show in particular, and then it went too quickly, and it never had an end, and they tried to fake an end. And it still doesn't have an end. The book is still not fucking out, apparently. I don't read the book, but when I started hearing that they were getting closer and closer to where George R. R. Martin had written up to, I was like, I'm out. I'm gone, because that will ruin the whole entire show.
He gave them bullet points on how it was going to end. But when you actually look at it, when he stepped away as executive producer around season 5 or 6, I can't really remember, that's when it started to go down. It wasn't even just
That's the same as The Walking Dead. When The Walking Dead comics, the graphic novels ended, the show had no clue where to go with the characters.
Yeah, but honestly, I could talk about The Walking Dead as well, and I was not impressed by the show, having read the comics beforehand.
But remember, Darren,
I was very annoyed that Robert Kirkman was actually an executive producer. I was expecting more from it.
But
him being on board.
Yeah, but the guy like The Walking Dead. I never read the graphic novel. I read bits and pieces after watching the show. And only what's worse is it'll tell you how good the graphic novels are, because that's why I've stopped watching the show, because I'm up to date in The Walking Dead, but I'm not really looking forward to watching it when it comes back, because I've read little bits of what actually happens in the graphic novel. I'm like, that's such a better storyline. And you had the characters there. Why would you not use it? And then again, there's characters in the graphic novel that are so amazing and so intricate in the story that they're not in the show. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why would you not utilize what you have?
Well, that's season 2.
That's a whole other podcast.
Came back season 3 and dropped out again.
But it relates back to this so well, specifically because this is a really good film on its own, and let's say Walking Dead with really good graphic novels. But what they did with the graphic novels is the first season of Walking Dead, they basically did the 12 volumes or the first 16 volumes of it, condensed it all down. Yeah,
and they killed people that shouldn't have been killed.
Nope.
They kept people that should have died.
But that's the problem with sequels. That's the problem with sequels on this, is because they do is they just basically take a piece of crap, or a well-established character or a small joke, and try and make a whole new series of film and pieces of entertainment based on little bits from the original that people enjoyed, and it just never works out. It happened with Game of Thrones, it happened with the sequels to these movies and Walking Dead. They basically try and go, everybody liked those, and let's make a movie out of those.
I feel like the only person who was laughing his way to the bank is George Lucas.
George Lucas.
He's the only one that was able to spin that really successfully, I think.
Well, how I'll basically put this, and this is the only way I can put it to you about this movie. When you love something so much, and I have a love for this, if a sequel came out and was terrible, you'd be like, you'd find something that was good. You'd find, it wasn't that bad. Everyone's giving out about it, but I thought it was funny. I can't even find that bit of this movie. I can't. I love this movie so much that I can't even. What they did, it reminds me of the episode of Friends. you know, when Chandler and Ross are like, oh, you're Matt, whatever the guy's name was, and they remember they met him years ago, and they're like, remember they went fishing on a boat, and they were like, do you know the episode of Man? And then they were like, how can I even say it to you?
Very vague here, Darren.
Fishing on a boat. Keep going.
Basically, what I do is, I'm going to tell you my analogy instead of the Friends thing, because I can't even remember the Friends thing. I'm not having too many beers right now. Basically, it's like someone you knew years ago that was really, really cool, and then you met them at a later stage in their life, and they're just a fucking disaster. Like, why would you? I wish I never met you guys. Like, don't meet your heroes.
Think about it like this: it's like if you knew a really good friend when you were younger, and then you didn't meet each other for 10 years, and during that 10 years, your friend was cloned. And all they did was take some of the bits that you kind of well knew about them, but didn't actually bring any of the personality or their childhood or your memories, any of those things. I remember they used
grown up and evolved as well.
Oh, even as that.
That's things that people don't take into account either. Is if you're doing a sequel, especially something as long as Dumb and Dumber 2, as far away from the original, you have to take into account that your original fan base, your original audience who are loyal to the first movie have grown and evolved and need something a little bit more, maybe slightly more intelligent.
I don't necessarily agree with that, specifically because Star Wars tried to be too smart and they failed. I would have liked to look back and said, oh, I remember that. I remember the Star Wars, how Star Wars made me feel. Yeah. I didn't want Star Wars to say, hey, there's an AT-AT, and hey, look, there's a picture. Oh, look, there's a helmet from Darth Vader. Remember Darth Vader? You're just like, no, I want to feel good. I don't want to just look at things. That made me feel good.
There's a critic who wrote something like, he just simply said, and he said it in a fucking nutshell. He said, it's like this movie was made 2 years after Dumb and Dumber. And it was kept in a lockbox till Jim Carrey's career went down the shitter. That's what the jokes are from back then. And
right.
Like you said, the jokes need to evolve. They need to have that they need to have a hint of nostalgia about this movie, but also be an up-to-date story, not the same rehashed story.
Yeah, maybe using the word intelligent was probably the wrong way to put it, but something that had like evolved and grown with the times a little bit more, instead of just being like that, a script that they picked up from 10 years ago and went, hey, let's go.
Well, again, one of the big problems with it is...
But they tried to do what they did last time. They had a script and they wrote it. And then they said to Jeff and Jim, right, I think they gave them like too much leeway. I think they were like, right, just a lot of the joke, you can tell in the movie, the sequel, that we're not talking about it right now. You can tell about that like a lot of the jokes were just made up on the spot. But it's not like Anchorman. It's not done cleverly, like ad-libbed. These are, you can blatantly tell that this was, and like the scenes are cut off really rigid, so you can tell like they had nowhere to go before they started laughing in the scene or something. It just didn't go. It just, like this, a lot of stuff was ad-libbed in this, but it back then, Jim was at the height of his career, and no matter what he did, I think people would fucking laugh at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the problem,
very sharp cuts in this movie as well, though. I think, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. I think the same happened here, Darren. But I think people were more forgiven because the lads were on the rise of their careers, and it was at a fucking era where these jokes worked. These were like brand new jokes. Whereas if you tell the same jokes over and over and over again, they're not going to be as funny. You know what I mean?
I didn't think there was that much ad-libbing in this at all, to be honest with you. It didn't feel like ad-libbed at all.
Well, there was like, I think it was like nearly 45% of the movie was ad-libbed. They said, I'm not sure now, that's what but you can tell when they go into, when you see the uncovers and stuff, you can see all the ad-libs and you can see, I have the upstairs and you can see the behind the scenes and all that. Jim was very, very much on his... See, as I said, again, I love the guy. Don't know him, but I love him. He'd be a fucking nightmare to work with because he insists on ad-libbing on the script. And, like, so as an actor, Jeff Daniels... I think that's the reason why Jeff Daniels was so good, because Jeff Daniels was able to match him with the ad-lib. You know what I mean?
To bounce off him.
Yeah, but even the whole Mockingbird... Like, you know that... You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? That just... They literally just started filming... And he just did that. Started screaming. And then Jeff Daniels thought it'd be good at it screaming your man's over here. You know?
Yeah, I'd say that would have been a nightmare to be in charge of that.
Look, as I said, I love him. But we know a guy who is like,
I'm actually thinking of him right now.
And literally like you can only be around that guy for like 20 minutes before it's too much. You know what I mean? And we love him, but it's fucking like
the results are not Jim Carrey level results when you let him go. That's the difference.
So,
Jamie, don't look like you don't know who we're talking about.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay.
Who are you talking about?
We're talking about GD.
Oh, right. Okay. So, I get you now. So, yeah, go back to the film. It just even in the, even just referencing the ad-lib parts, like I said, it feels like a Marx Brother film in terms of you got your straight-laced characters for most parts. You got your bumbling fools here and there. But maybe it's because their characters are so idiotic that ad-libbing, when it's done badly, can come off as just really cringe. But they do it so well, and also their characters are so stupid that it just overlaps, and you're like, oh, that seems natural. So we get them driving away, and they stop in at a diner. And Seabass.
Again, see, I feel like I'm so sorry for it. Like, just tell me to move on really quickly if I'm stopping, because there's bits that I'm like, he's like, I bet you, I guarantee I can get you gambling for the end of the day. No, I give you 2-1 odds, 3, 10-1 odds. Okay.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
I don't know how, but I'm gonna get you. Oh, no. And then they get to the diner. Thanks for filling in the little bits there. No, but yeah. But like that's what I was talking about earlier about the competition about who is actually stupider, and you're like, oh my god, Jim Carrey's gotten the upper hand there. He's actually that stupid. And now Harry can come in and say, oh, you missed it, and it's like, no, he's just stupider. Like it's just like they both keep getting more ridiculous. Dumber. Oh, so Harry throws over. He spilled some salt, and Harry throws over the salt behind his. What's the matter? Spilling salt's very bad luck.
It is bad luck.
Driving across the country, last thing we need is bad luck. Quick, throw some salt over right shoulder.
Hey Jamie. Hey Jamie, I feel like we could just leave.
I could just do the film now. We just put subtitles on the Darren.
We could just go and let Darren just.
Do you know what the audience would like? It like a lot.
Like it a lot.
Yes.
But the Seabass character.
Sorry, I'm actually just having the best time ever, having a few years talking about Dumb and Dumber.
Me too, Darren. Me too.
Don't get to do this very often.
You have anything to comment about Seabass?
Oh, Seabass.
No, is that it? No, Seabass.
Oh no!
Comes over and spits in his burger, eats it.
Yeah, but in the uncut version, again, I'm talking about, you see him spitting in the burger, and it's just gross.
I seen the spit in the burger. I must have seen that.
Do you know what's worse? For anyone who's watching, hopefully, where people are watching, we did it on stage. Me, Seth, and Darren put a show together called Dim and Dimmer. But we had a guy playing Seabass, and the guy, my counterpart, playing Harry, each night threw the salt over his right shoulder and clocked your man right in the face every single fucking night. It was amazing. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. It was brilliant. And then
did he actually get him?
Your man walk over and spit like hock a loogie in your man's in the burgers we had. It was the most. Every time I see this movie now, I'm like thinking. I always think of that spit because it was like from his fucking soul. He used to get that up. It was like the whole.
He gave it socks. In fairness,
he gave it fucking well. Yeah, he did absolutely. But every time I see that movie and just see that scene, I always think of that. Good memories, good times. And then
this is the problem. I think working on that with you killed this movie for me.
God damn.
I think I had my fill.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. What did you say then after that? You really wimped out, man. What are you talking about, wimped out? The guy just hawked at my burger.
I wouldn't like that. Why did he spit on the burger and then take it? Why did he lick it? You didn't take it to eat it. I wouldn't even eat it if I spat on a burger.
He didn't take it. He actually the barmaid or whatever the fuck the waitress took it away.
No, he took it away. He took it. Oh, we know something you don't know, Darren.
Darren.
Oh God, I never seen that before. Okay, if he took the burger, then fucking that's even more disgusting.
Because I had the same thought. It's like, why is he taking it?
Why is he going to eat that? He goes, is that are you going to eat that? He goes, yeah, no, it crossed my mind. And he goes, oh, and he spits it and goes, no, you can have it. And he just takes it, basically.
I just saw him spit in the burger. And I never saw
him. What a sick fucker.
Did you watch a movie this week?
Let's not go there, Jerry, okay?
So, they leave the restaurant. They leave the restaurant after basically saying, "Oh yeah, that guy will pay for our food." He goes over to the Seabass. He's like, "Yeah, we want to buy some beers. We want to apologize." And he goes over to the waiter. Goes, "Oh yeah, those guys will buy us our food." And he goes like, "Yep, over here." It's like, okay.
Well, that guy over there at the table over there, Seabass. He goes,
"Yep, over here."
That's what he wants. It's on there too. We'll take all these.
Then they get in the car, and this is the part with the police officer. He pulls them over, basically, and then asks them about the beer. That's a lot of pee. That is a lot of pee. Why didn't he... Oh, I guess the reason he didn't stop and pull over is because they thought Seabass was going to be after him. So, I can get that. That's fine.
Brilliant. Joke he says there to man. What happened? How'd you get that, Lloyd? Saw the movie once. What happened? The guy gets away scot-free and makes your man pay for his meal. No, in the movie, they catch him a half mile down the road and slit his throat. It was a good one.
It's like, oh, wait. So,
but like immediately after that, your man says to him, "Harry, I know it isn't the best time, but when you get a chance to pull over, I gotta pee." What are you crazy? I'm not pulling over now. Then obviously the fucking thing with the bottles.
But that is a lot of pee. Why can't he stop peeing? Because it stings. He should get that checked.
When I was younger, I never heard that. And like only when I'm saying we did the show and I read the script and I was like, I can't stop once I've started. I thought I said it stays. I was like, okay, he's getting.
Actually, I wasn't 100% sure of that either.
Yeah,
it stings.
It does sting when you stop going.
Darren,
I maybe it does. It does.
I don't know. I've never needed to stop. I just continue on regardless.
Dude, look. Well, when you have kids in the house and they run into the bathroom on you, like when you're in the middle of going,
you just
have to stop in the middle.
You just keep going.
You know what? I'm too much of a gentleman at this stage.
In that suit, absolutely.
But you know what?
Classy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Harry goes to sleep, and Lloyd starts. So they continue driving. The police officer leaves them go. They got a scot-free. They got off scot-free in a lot of these things. Like they murder a man, and they basically just let him walk out of the restaurant.
Like it is very cleverly written, though, in the sense that like the stupidity that they do actually ends up working in their favor.
Yes, yeah.
And I feel like the script in this is actually very good.
Well, it's cleverly written, but they do like as well. They didn't leave your man off drink the piss. They did try to tell him and he's like, again, that guy. What's he? Sorry, I'm gonna find out his name.
He's been in a few things. I recognize him. I don't know what he's actually been in.
Fucking brilliant. Sorry, I'll find out his name. He's Harland Williams. He is in. He's in like Something About Mary and all those movies.
Yes, that's what. Yeah, like I've seen him in those.
And again, that was all ad-libs. That was all him doing it. He was supposed to just up and get sick. And again, I think he just wanted to kind of just add something to it, and he did that. But like, it fucking totally worked. Totally fucking worked.
But again, I think maybe it is just the way that films were shot back in the 90s. They didn't have as much freedom because it was film. Like, it's not digital. Like, you can keep rolling for digital and cut and do intercuts and all of that crazy shit. Whereas if you're ad-libbing on film, it better be good the first time, and you can't do cuts to people laughing or quipping back on each other as you can with again, a Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd sitting on a chair
That's
going,
quite
you know how I know you're gay?
because-
Yeah. But again,
Jamie, those are great jokes. Those
I
are
know, you know how
amazing.
I know you're gay? Because I
You
fucked
listen
your
to
father.
Play.
That's a great film, actually.
What are we referencing?
40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh, okay. It's been a while.
Yeah. That's a great film, actually.
We should. I'm picking that next time.
Yeah, that
I'm
could be
picking
your
next time.
pick. That could be your pick, Darren. That's a Darren. That sounds like a Darren pick to me.
I'll make sure I completely horror myself out, so I need a break from the tension and comedy at that stage.
Good idea.
Have you seen 40-Year-Old Virgin, Darren?
Yeah, ages ago.
Yeah, it's
okay.
great.
I enjoyed it at the time.
I want that guy's room. I want Steve Carell's room with all his like Aquaman and
that was my
action figures.
room till I sold all my toys, till I gave them away. And what's worse, I didn't sell them, I gave them away. And now I feel all depressed.
But you're no longer a virgin, Darren. With your children.
You know what? I don't care. I want my toys back.
I want my toys back. Oh, Darren.
I want
those
a
kids.
the clip of the guy in an orange top hat drinking a beer, nearly crying, saying, "I want my toys back."
I want my toys back.
That.
Oh my God! It's like Donald Trump all over again. So we get one of my favorite little sketches in the film is Lloyd doing his daydream, and he's sitting in the car, and he basically fantasizes about himself going to Mary's mansion.
Suddenly the sun broke through innocent. Oh, what's the song? Come on, lads, you must know.
It is. I know. I remember the song. There were so many catchy songs in this. I've forgotten the one that plays during this one.
Is it? I knew she could make me happy.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that, was it?
It was. There was flowers in her hair, flowers everywhere. Dude,
was it?
Are you questioning me about Dumb and Dumber?
Well, we just caught you in a mistake just a little while ago, so I think we're allowed to question you, to be honest with you, bro.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Whatever.
What ifs? One of my favorite bits. So screw the bit where actually she does have a nice bottom. I gotta say that's definitely not her. That's not.
That's a good nice bottom.
That yeah. Remember when he gives her the hug? Lifts her skirt up.
I do.
That's a good butt.
I do.
That's a good butt. That's not her butt though.
I do. He says.
Come on. Now.
Her butt.
That's a good butt.
That's a good butt.
I got a butt actress for that. But it's a second part in the restaurant where the waiter, for no apparent reason, just starts getting down and starts kissing her. And then Jim Carrey absolutely kicks the shit out of him. And then a load of these guys start coming along. It just starts becoming like a martial arts film. And the guy comes from out of the kitchen in the mist. I was like, okay, this is fucking awesome. I forgot this part was in it. I kind of wish it had stopped at that part, because the next part, like, either this should have been the last one, or they should have just moved it on. Because the next ones were him, like, basically farting in the, when it was, like, the family around, sitting on the sofa.
Oh, yeah.
I thought this was much better.
Kind of jumped the shark there, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, he rips your man's heart out and everything.
Yeah. There was a whole more to that. Like, there was a lot more to it than when he was farting, and there was a whole, like, build-up to the fucking scene, but they didn't use it. Well, the whole scene sucked anyway. No matter if there was dialogue there or not dialogue there. Like, it wasn't good in the slightest.
I loved that. I loved it. I thought it was really good. Especially because I thought, like, it started off as a stupid daydream, and then it became like, okay, what would happen if someone hit on her? It's like, yeah, well, I'd attack him. Okay, and then there'd be another guy, and then a ninja guy, and I'd rip his heart out. I like this scene. I like this whole fight scene, not the one where he's farting and stuff. I hate the fucking one where he's farting. But the whole fight scene is fucking genius. It was brilliant. The headlights, was that CGI'd?
Oh.
That was CGI. Am I wrong? Was that CGI?
I wouldn't say so.
Well, not CGI then, but it was like, it must have been some sort of special effect.
I'd say it was just caught in.
No, they
because she was moving,
right? But she had wires, so it was like a pull string thing that I was watching.
No, they weren't really there at all.
No way, they're not there.
They weren't there.
I'm telling you,
no,
that's what they did.
Well, that she had zero boobs because
That's a man's chest then. That's like a little boy's chest because there's no way that those boobs... That is a special effect. Even when I seen it, I was like, that's a special effect. I knew that.
What I watched and what I was raised...
I looked really carefully at this, Darren. I know what I'm talking about.
Like, there's no boobs behind those lamps.
No.
They're, like... I don't know.
Telling you, that's what happened.
I've seen boobs before, Darren, and they look nothing like that. But okay, they look CGI because I wanted to raise the point. Special effects in Dumb and Dumber. There's one. The other one was the giant explosion. They must have done something because she moves as well, and they actually move. The headlights move. No?
Well, the fact that they had like stuck them onto her.
I gotta ask for a source for that one, Darren, because I am wholly convinced that they are not real because you can't see the shadow. You can't see the shadow around it. There'd be a shadow there. Like it doesn't look natural. I know it obviously doesn't look natural, but it doesn't even look natural for her to have those stuck on.
I'm going to research.
You have them. You have them. Would that be able to be physically possible?
But this is the thing I'm talking about because I looked at it and immediately thought there is no space behind those lamps for boobs.
Right.
So there is no lamps there.
She's a pretty small lady, but there's no way that this lady in the... Look at those!
Like, they're what do you call them? Convex, concave? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Concave?
Concave goes like a cave.
That way, where boobs go that way.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, I'm going to put it down to special effects. We're out of democracy here.
Maybe what I read was full of shit, but it's what I read.
I'm gonna find out.
I was about to say that's your task, Darren. You'll know.
I'm not drawing tonight, so I may as well just do some research.
So and then we basically find out that the headlights were for a big oncoming truck, and they stop in at a crappy love hotel and sit in a big heart-shaped bathtub.
Yeah, they do.
They have a discussion about how Harry had a girlfriend years ago, and apparently she ran away with another man, and you kind of find out that it's basically been Lloyd. And that's not really talked about. Right?
It's been Lloyd.
It's been Lloyd all along! People are fucking. There's like a bunch of people fucking in the hotel as well. It's obviously for married couples, and they're just sitting in this love tub, drinking beers together.
Only married couples can fuck. Is that what you're saying, Jamie?
Well, I should hope so. The Pope doesn't condone such things. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm an extremist Christian this week. So.
Yeah, but did you see that? Did you watch the whole conversation before? When he's listening with the glass against the window or against the door, not the door, the wall. What I'm talking about. Did you see this? No. Did you hear it? Do you remember that? Okay, you didn't see it. He says to her man, "There's only one thing that makes it any better." Your man says, "What's that?" He goes, "If you had a nice set of knockers." Your man says, "That's two things, Lloyd." Your man Jim Carrey. It's all ad-libbed. Jim Carrey says, "Well, you're lucky, Harry. Because I'd be banging you right now."
Oh, that part, yeah. I bet you'd love it. I bet you love it too, wouldn't you? What means like I'd split you like a piece of firewood.
Like a piece of firewood.
In my research, I've actually just come across something interesting there in relation to what you're talking about. That room is where The Shining was filmed.
Yeah, the hotel they used. You know the hotel where they go when they're all rich in this movie? Cool. That's where Stephen King... No, it's when Stephen King actually...
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's not this one you're talking about. It's later on. Okay.
When he had like a ghostly experience and he wrote The Shining in the hotel. You know when he's
really?
Standing aside, it's like, there you go. That's the hotel that he had his horror experience. He basically saw a ghost there and he wrote The Shining from that in the hotel.
I need to watch that film. That's one film I haven't seen.
That's a fucking amazing movie.
The Shining. Yeah, never seen that.
How have you not seen that?
I know. It's on my list. There's so many films.
Jamie, you've never seen The Shining?
I have never seen The Shining. No.
God. Now that's you're having a me moment right now. People say to me, Darren, you've never seen Jaws. I'm like, no. Like, and they fucking
Have you never seen Jaws?
I didn't see Jaws last year.
Oh, okay, well you have seen it now. That's okay.
I'm sad I can no longer say I've never seen Star Wars.
Yay! I ruined that for you.
Jamie.
Mahaha! I'm sorry I did. Actually, at least you got to see it. It was. Well, you only seen the first one. You didn't see the. Did I show you the Empire Strikes Back?
It didn't make me want to watch the rest of them. I'm not into sci-fi. So.
Oh, okay.
You are sci-fi.
I'm not into sci-fi.
You are into sci-fi. You just don't know it yet. Damn it.
Nobody's shown you the proper sci-fi, the real sci-fi.
Well, why did you show me Star Wars then?
Oh,
actually, no, I lie. I am a huge Star Trek fan. I'm a big TNG fan.
There you go.
Jamie, that's all on you right now, okay? That's all on you.
Hey, I have no problem with Star Trek. Star Trek was so much better.
Don't even try to convert Star Trek to Star Wars. Don't. Oh my God! Why would you? Anyway, moving on, Dumb and Dumber.
So we get I like this bit in the call booth, in the phone booth, where your man's like, "Hello, other people are trying to speak." What's that guy from? He kind of reminds me of Tim Curry a little bit. Like he's the face of Tim Curry, and he's been in.
Stoner, right?
Yeah. What else has that guy been in?
Tell you now. 1 second. Give me a chance, Jamie. He's in Everyone Loves Raymond. He's in Seinfeld. He's in Hannah Montana. He's in fucking loads of stuff.
That's how you know him, Jamie.
That must be it. It's my incessant love of Hannah Montana.
He's in Goldenberg, Bob's Burgers, My Name is Earl, Drew Carey Show, Darren. Like, he's been in so much. It's ridiculous.
He's one of those actors that you just be like, I've seen that guy a million times before. There's so many people that were in, what was the...
I left the subtitles on this because there's certain words that was, obviously I didn't hear it before. But when he says, your man, he's trying to call him first, like, hey, sir, can you get out? And your man turns around. He's like, oh, he turned his back on me. I almost like it.
Yeah. Did you hear that bit where he goes, "Who's made me angry? I'm almost like it." Yeah, and then you're like, "What? Sorry, what?" And he just punches him through the glass.
Off the phone. But your man broke his he broke his baby finger, Mike Starr, when he punched through the glass.
Oh yeah.
He actually punched him. He didn't obviously knock him out, but he punched him. He made connection with him. He didn't mean to fucking when he did it. But like back then, that's a great fucking effect. That's a great effect. He was.
Well, it wouldn't have been an effect. He actually punched his hand through glass.
Well, he punched his hand through sugar glass, but he actually connected with your man. Your man had obviously had his mark where he's supposed to be. But like, look. It is what it is, and your man fucking punched him. But it looked brilliant. It looked fucking great for the movie.
I thought it was pretty good. So they set up one of the goons and your other one, the Latino one, that they've basically been... The car is broken down. He's going to look for a lift from Harry and Lloyd.
Best line ever. She says, Joe, come on, let me do both of them. You won't even have to worry about it. He says, you don't kill people you don't know.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
That's a rule.
That's a rule.
But then she says...
she wants to squeeze a lemon. Why is she squeezing lemons?
Going for the shit, I think. Is that right, Derry?
Is that right, Derry? Do you know this? Squeeze a lemon. I thought it was a pussy joke.
I gotta go squeeze a lemon.
Yeah.
I thought it was like taking a shit for a girl.
Taking a shit for a girl.
No, it's lemonade, maybe.
Like pissing, yeah? Oh, right, yeah.
That's what it is.
Squeeze a lemon.
Americans will never know.
Oh, shit, I'm taking piston. So I've never heard that saying in my life.
Is that kids? I'm going to really embarrass myself now, but isn't there that kid's rhyme of like milk, lemonade around the back?
This is where, yes.
So she would have said, I gotta make a chocolate cake if she was going for the shit then.
Ew.
Sorry,
nasty. Girls pooping in the woods. Ew. They pick him up. This is the part where he's like, you want to hear the most annoying word sound in the world? I think on YouTube you can find 10 hours of that. I think someone just looped it of 10 hours of Jim Carrey shouting.
I want to say,
Thanks, I hate it.
congratulations to that person.
Yeah. Well done.
Congratulations.
You
Well
did
done. You really did it. You did it. You deserve a fucking award for that. You did something meaningful with your life.
The good guy starts getting really pissed off and is about to shoot them when they start picking up like a Mexican family on the side of the road and they start singing Mockingbird.
Start together. Mock. Yeah.
And they go,
Zing. Zing.
The guy isn't basically with them 5 minutes and they end up murdering him. They give him, they do a dare with like eating chilies. They put the chilies in your man's burger. I think he calls the henchman. You kind of find out at this point that it's Mary's friend. Some random guy that Mary knows.
It's the family friend who basically is extorting the fucking family after kidnapping the husband.
Yeah, they kidnap the husband for the money, and she seems fairly calm. Everybody else seems fairly calm. Her friends are like, "Oh, don't worry, it'll be fine." The guy eats the chilies, and then he has like an ulcer attack and ends up on the ground. They go to get the medicine, and it's actually, what is it? Rat poison? Because your man...
Yeah, rat.
Your man is like... You son of a bitch.
You heard him. Not if you can't... You heard him, his last words. Not if you can't the gurgling sound.
So, what happens is that they basically kill the guy, and... Woo, hey, cat. They kill the guy, and the police are called, but Lloyd and Harry are already out of there. They go to another gas station, all the way along to Aspen. They're still driving to Aspen. Like, Aspen must be a very long way away.
It is.
And Harry encounters this woman that he's trying to chat up. She apparently just broke up from her boyfriend and is traveling to Aspen. Kind of an inconsequential character for no apparent reason.
Yeah, but you know the bit where he's talking to her and he's like, what's the lines? Skis? Cool. They're yours? Yeah. Both of them? Yeah. But you know where you see the stuff he starts spurting out from the gas?
Yeah.
That's all. Like, that was actually, his lines were taking too long. And that's when she says to him, "You're spraying everywhere." And he's like, "Oh, fuck," that's why he lifts up in the air. It's actually water in the thing. But that's all like a mistake, but they kept in the movie to be... Well, fair play to them, because they fucking realised it was brilliant.
Well, yeah, but then they lit his leg on fire. He lit the leg on fire and everything. I thought it was really good. So...
number.
Jim Carrey goes into the bathroom and sees on the wall that Manly Love here, March 25th at 2:15 a.m. Sharp. And it's our old friend Seabass. I did not expect that. I completely forgot about the whole man rape thing I was like, wow, does he actually get raped in this?
Yeah, but they go they do. They go
pretty much take it as far as they can get it.
He holds him by the neck and he has like it's fucking fucked up. Poor Jim Carrey.
Well, while Harry's leg is on fire, he's basically runs into the bathroom and tries to put his foot down the toilet. In action, knocking out Seabass. So they finally escape, and you find out that the police are after them. They're waiting for them by this overpass, on their way to Aspen. And Jim Carrey drives them completely the opposite direction because he's not paying attention. What was he trying to do?
Like Gary's saying, it's their stupidity that actually works in their favour.
Yeah, exactly. So
what did you drove almost? You drove
a sixth of the way across the direction. But Jim Carrey comes back with a motorcycle that he traded the car with. So straight up, they hop on this shitty little motorcycle and decide that is probably going to be the best way to get to Aspen.
I gotta stop you there. You said shitty motorcycle.
Yeah, it's a shitty motorcycle.
Let's be honest now. The best motorcycle in the fucking world. Come on now, Derry. Don't even joke with me. If I pull up on that and I like flicks my hands out, you'd be on the back in 10 seconds.
I mean, in that suit, sweetie, I'm all yours.
You see, like I'm all over that right now. See?
Well, at least you'd be seen while you were driving it. That's you wouldn't be a hazard on the road.
See,
it's like a high-visit tuxedo.
Dude, I'm all over that. No one will fucking pass me off because they'd be like, look at that suave motherfucker right there.
Wow, people are like pulling over and just clapping, getting out of their car and like clapping you. So they find their way to Aspen.
What's the song where they're passing? Here it comes.
They're playing the Monkees. I think they're referencing that earlier on in the movie where they were like, "Oh, did you know the Monkees influenced the Beatles?" That was in a diner.
But there's loads of jokes. Yeah, the Monkees, they had a major influence on the Beatles. But even like the sound, one of you said this earlier. The soundtrack to this is fucking brilliant. The soundtrack
it's very 90s. It's very 90s. It's just super kind of. It just feels like all of those classic 90s songs.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. They don't like make soundtracks to album or to movies anymore, do they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. But they're all music nowadays is shit. So that's just my stance on it. Every single bit of it. I don't care. It's all horrible. Every single song. I don't care.
But I mean, like,
horrible.
I know like places like Golden Discs are still going. They have like they sell CDs and stuff. But I mean, I don't know who buys fucking CDs anymore. But I mean, like the last movie I watched that had a soundtrack to it was either Frozen or fucking The Greatest Showman. Like they were the only movies that actually had music.
Well, you'd hope there'd be a soundtrack to The Greatest Showman. That was a musical.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose. No, but like this.
Suicide Squad.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Suicide Squad, Darren. That's the right, Jay.
Darry, you're a little bit mic low.
And what?
Your mic is low.
Oh, okay.
Low.
It's a little bit hard to hear you, sorry.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
A little bit more.
A little bit more.
Dip. Yeah. Yeah, it's just we're speaking over you. I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. No, I was going to say Suicide Squad had a really good soundtrack.
There you go.
For a horrible film, apparently.
But it was older music.
Mm-hmm.
And Derry likes the movie, so I have to give her...
I like the movie, as a visual spectacle. I didn't like the story and all that shit. I thought the story was ridiculous.
The problem with me is I can't separate the movie from what it was supposed to be, the Suicide Squad, the original graphic novel, and I'm just like, no, I can't.
Well, did you guys did you guys see Harley Quinn? I heard that was also awful.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, the movie was shockingly bad. Everyone was she couldn't hold the accent as Harley Quinn, which is weird because you can either do an accent or you can't do an accent, and she created.
It's from Boston. Hey, Mr. J.
Yeah. But what annoys me is she created this Harley Quinn. So this is her Harley Quinn. So I don't know how she fucked that up, but she did. It wasn't good. It was poorly written. Ewan McGregor played the black.
Oh yeah, I heard that was awful as well.
It was, as a movie, it was one of those movies that you'd forget that happened in 4 years.
Right.
Like, completely forgettable. All the characters were forgettable. It was
unforgettable.
Possibility of being a good movie, but just not well executed, not well. Like all the characters that they could have used for this movie that were really good, that make you want to be interested, were great. All the characters that were helping her in her mission were great. She was the worst part of the movie, Harley Quinn. Not against Margot Robbie. I loved her. I thought she was great in Suicide Squad because she was Harley Quinn. But it was like she wasn't the same character. She was like trying to take that character and do something different with it. I'm like, why would you do something different with it if you made it work in the first movie? Like, her accents never stayed the same. Never.
I liked her Harley, and I'm a diehard Harley fan because I was that age when Harley was invented, when Harley was first created.
But Derry,
I was like that age, and I was big into Batman the animated series.
But you don't have to be, Mr. J. You don't have
Mr. J.
I don't know, because that's how the original Harley Quinn was.
But that's insane. But she took that and then did her own spin on Suicide Squad. So she did a very good job of it. And even when they showed the flashbacks of her in the Jester outfit, It was good, but it's like a whole nother character she created for this movie that just didn't work. It did not work at all.
We were talking about soundtracks, right?
Soundtracks, yeah.
Here we go. Sorry, this movie's just. I'm gonna listen to the soundtrack after this and get drunk. That's it. That's what I'm doing.
I don't even know if you can find the Dumb and Dumber soundtrack. I bet there's like 7 songs on it that have no flow into each other.
I have it on CD.
As far as I know, I think I came across it on Spotify.
What? It's on YouTube.
Oh my god. I'm gonna have to check that out. They finally got to Aspen.
So this is where they got to Aspen. They're like
Aspen.
We're there.
I think Harry pisses himself to keep them all warm, which is nice.
Lloyd, I gotta go to the bathroom. Just go, man. Just go, man. That's real warm.
Oh, it feels warm.
They
have a conversation about trying to find Mary, and then you find out that Jim Carrey knows nothing about her except for her first name. Barely remembers her last name.
This is another thing years ago where I wouldn't have understood like the Samsonite, because I wouldn't have obviously known.
Because it's a briefcase maker.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like when he got like, this is when I was another indication of when Jim Carrey is the dumber, because obviously I've got it by now. Like, you know, only 30 years later. Like,
yeah.
But it's when he gets off the thing straight away. He's like, right, let's find Mary. If I know her as well as I think it is, she'll invite him for tea and scrumpets.
No, I thought he said tea and strumpets.
No, scrumpets.
I was like, did he say strumpets or scrumpets? Okay, strumpets.
So he goes, okay, what's her last name? I don't know. Or where's she? I don't know. Okay, tell me her last name. I look at on the phone book. You know, I don't really recall.
Swish, swish.
Flappy Swanson. Maybe
Samsonite.
I was way off. I knew it started with an S though.
So they couldn't find her. Maybe she's unlisted. And they go to the park. They have a fight, and Harry goes to throw the briefcase into the pond, but they have a bit of a tussle, and Harry throws the briefcase onto the ground. It splits open, and all the money comes out of it.
Brilliant. Great moment in the movie as well, like, you know what I mean? But they're fucking at like, especially like, because you couldn't think to be at more like rock bottom when he's like, I can't feel my fingers, Lloyd. They're numb.
Or take these extra pair of gloves.
I'm gonna kill you. What? I'm gonna kill you, Lloyd. And then the money, but like, it's a fucking great setup. It's a brilliant setup for it. You know what I mean?
I do like the 2 pairs of gloves thing, where he goes, "Oh yeah, my hands are sweaty." So they go off and spend the money. They rent a hotel room. They get themselves all dolled up. I think they get like haircuts, and like Jim Carrey's feet are awful. They get news. Yeah. They find out in the newspaper that Mary. Oh, what are you going to say?
Go on, sorry. Go on.
No, I was just about to say, this is where they basically start getting out suits, because they find Mary is having an international animal society dinner thing. So, this is the suit you're wearing, Darren. Very fancy suit.
Sorry, I gotta put my hat back on for this, sorry.
But are they playing Pretty Woman?
Yeah, Pretty Woman.
Like Pretty Woman. And it's Harry is playing like the Richard Gere character. He's like the big cigar.
Yeah. I suppose this is the thing where they open the fucking
I didn't get that. I didn't know that was a reference. I've never seen Pretty Woman, so
I've never seen it either. But again, I've seen so many references to it now.
Right.
Yeah. The snap thing that was apparently that was ad-libbed as well. Snap. In Pretty Woman, not in this. So they go to the international endangered animal owl thing, and they look fabulous. They finally spot Mary, and Lloyd tells Harry to go over and chat her up and say, "Okay, make me look good." What does he say? He goes, tell her how handsome I am." I'm like, she's seen you. She has seen you physically.
Tell her Tell her that I've got a rapist wit.
Hey,
A
Darren,
rapist wit.
can you
Yes.
just look to your left slightly and do a stupid Jim Carrey smile? There it is.
Hey!
You're right beside him on the screen right now.
If you, you just shave off the beard and you spit an image.
Oh shit! So I didn't even think that. I was actually going to shave off, lads. I was going to put the gap in my tooth and everything. I was really going to. And then, of course, I had fucking ructions in my house, so I didn't
What
like
did we
bother.
do for that? Did we put tape on your tooth that time?
No, I had a what's it called? Spirit gum. It was like a black spirit gum.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like, when I got it at first, I was like, that's not going to work. There's no way. And actually, when I blacked it out, I was like, I couldn't get it off my teeth. I couldn't. Because I just took it's like for all the world a little nail varnish like brush, and I just like dabbed it. But as I dabbed it and I knocked it, and then I put it over the whole two front of my teeth, so it looked like I had no front teeth. So I had to like, scrape it off I had to scrape the two teeth off like that. But it took me like 45 minutes, and like from the time I put it on to the time I got it perfect on my tooth, to the time actually we went on stage and did the show was about a month. So it stayed there for a solid fucking month. But
you just put Tipex on it. You just Tipex it and you'll be fine.
Yes, and we had a girl actually just cut my hair, but like as she was saying, she put my hair, she gelled it all down and she was cutting my hair in the bowl. She felt it was Becky feeling, and she was like she was sweating. She was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. She goes, oh my God, I feel so horrible.
It's a proper 90s haircut, like a step in your hair, yeah?
She literally cut the whole front of my hair off. And when I walked out, I must have looked so stupid because I walked in the mirror. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. She was like, are you looking at yourself in the mirror? Are you actually looking at what I did to you? I was like, yeah. I was like so happy. I was like, oh my God.
I look so stupid.
She was like, why are you smiling? Why are you smiling at your hair like that? Like, that's what people give out about when they get drunk, and people do that to them when they're falling asleep. What are you talking about? I was like, oh, I'm just so happy. But like, yeah, it stayed on me. But obviously, Jim had the cap on his tooth that he took out. But yeah, those suits, lads, those suits are just the tits. I swear.
I want those hats. Don't like just the top hat. Even this is the orange top hat will be perfect. So Harry goes over to Mary, and there. Should have gone.
Which one do you want, dude?
I want yellow. Well, I want the blue one. I want the baby blue one. I like baby blue. It's my color, man. There you go. It's fancy. That's double as fancy as before. Harry goes over to Mary and goes, nice set of hooters you got there. And I thought that was a pretty good joke. I like that joke.
That's a great line. That's a
because there was two L's there. So Harry goes back after being set up with Mary by, I thought that was like her mom, but no, it's her friend.
It's a friend.
I honestly thought that was her mom.
Mother-in-law. Was it
no, that's her mother.
Maybe it is the mother-in-law or something. Oh no, wait, why would, because your son is captured.
No, that's her stepmom.
Okay, maybe my wires got crossed and I thought mother-in-law, but yeah, stepmother makes way more sense.
Yeah, she called her by her first name.
Married, so
yeah, that again got me. I was like, why is she? Yeah,
no, it's her. It's her. Sorry, I didn't say her stepmom. Her mom. It's Helen Swanson. It's her mother.
It is her.
But she calls her by her first name.
What?
She calls her by her first name.
Helen. Yeah, well, her name's Helen Swanson. That's. So I would assume it's her mom.
I don't know. It just confused me a little bit. I was like, I thought they were like parent and daughter, but no, she was like Helen, and I was like, oh, are they friends? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't actually matter at all. But those small things confuse me. And then at the end, I was like, oh yeah, she is married. Why is she like hanging out with this guy and kissing him on the cheek and tussling around in the snow? That's a bit
stepmother.
There you go.
It's her stepmother. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And that's like that. There's like a stepmother in it. She's never really even referenced. And yeah, that's fine. Backstory.
How cruel is that, though? I mean, your husband is missing for how long has he been missing? And your stepmother is like, hey, go have fun with this guy.
This rich man. So Harry gets set up with Mary to go skiing the next morning. he goes back to Lloyd and basically explains to him that, oh yeah, I got you the date. It's 10 a.m. in the lobby bar in the lobby. So Jim Carrey gets dressed up as the weirdest looking cowboy ever. Some sort of a Aspen cowboy.
Like retarded brother.
He goes down to the lobby and they're closed, but he asks to sit down at the bar anyway. They'll be open in 45 minutes. We go back to Lloyd or Harry with the tongue stuck on the pole for the ski lift. What does she say? Oh, I don't want to bore you with family stuff. And he goes, oh, thanks. It's just those small little things. I'm like, oh yeah, that was pretty good. We go back to Harry at the bar, and he's actually sitting with the one that we seen earlier in the petrol station, or the gas station, the petrol station. And she is going on about her ex-boyfriend. I don't know, she broke up with him. And Jim Carrey is audibly not giving a shit. He even goes, oh my God, nobody cares. It's like, what the fuck? So she's hanging around there. She's clearly a very lonely lady, or that's what we suspect. So Jim Carrey ends up asking the bartender, okay, do you know where Mary Swanson lives? And he goes, oh yeah, at the big house up at the top of wherever. So
he says to the barman, bartender, do you know Mary Swanson? Your man says, Mary Swanson? Oh yeah.
She comes in here all the time.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? She has dinner.
I know that poor guy gave him a free beer earlier on. What a way to treat a man, huh?
He tore the fucking head off him. She has dinner. Oh, I'm saying sort of. You know where she lives or anything? Yeah, big place in Alpine Drive. And he fucks out the door. And he sees the thing on the best joke for me there. He sees the thing on the wall. Say, we landed on the moon.
Yeah, man walks on moon.
Yeah.
So we see Harry dropping off Mary, saying that they'll meet later on. And as he's driving off, Lloyd is up in the kind of cliff little bit, and he sees them together. He's been duped. So they're back at the hotel room, and Harry is like, oh, I said 10 a.m. I thought it must have been 10 p.m. And Lloyd is like, oh, yeah, of course, that's stupid. But he actually laxes him. Oh, yeah, I thought she was a raging alcoholic. He gives a fucking shitloads of laxatives to Harry in his drink with the intention of going to the house at the same time and trying to co-opt Mary. So Jeff Daniels, or Harry, basically goes to the house, feels a little rumble in his belly, and ends up going to the bathroom. Why does he say he's shaving? It's like stupid. Like, you're like, and again, if this was any other movie, I'd be like, that doesn't make any sense. But I'm like, these characters are clearly just so stupid. They're like, I'm shaving in here. I didn't get a chance when I was in a rush. I'm trying to get in the bathroom. But she's like, oh,
want to tell her he's taking a shit. Like,
he's too much of a classy fucker.
Oh, do you see the picture we have on the screen at the moment?
No, he's not very classy. Well, she doesn't know that he's parting his cheeks like the Red Sea.
I would have liked to see her turn around and goes, but you didn't have a beard. He was already shaven, right?
He didn't say where he was shaving.
Contrary to popular belief on this screen right now, but some guys do actually grow beards within a few days. Or enough to shave, at least.
Yeah.
I do understand that the two of you have trouble.
No, only here and down here. Up here is fine. Up here is okay. Down at the sides and anywhere else that's bare skin is horrible. It can't grow anything.
Baby face.
I can do it, Moana.
Jim Carrey comes to Mary's house and is like, I bought you a briefcase. And at first she's like, who the hell is this chap? But she's so startled that finally she's found the briefcase and is willing to be whisked back to his hotel room for Lloyd to basically give her all the money. Jeff is still stuck in the bathroom and, right, I've been in a situation where this has happened, where the toilet doesn't flush, and I'm like, okay, I've done a pretty bad job of the toilet, and I need to get rid of the evidence. All you need to do is just get a big basin of water and just empty it in, like simulate a flush, right?
Where'd you get the basin, Jamie?
Well, see, this is the other problem. I just go and get one and not try and take the toilet off the ground and empty it out. Because there's still shit in the toilet, right? And even that, there's a lip. Imagine trying to get around that lip. It would like slush back into the cistern of the toilet.
Jamie, you acted like you'd thought about this whole lot.
Well, I sat there thinking, okay, right. One of the main flaws I was thinking is, it's going to come out the end. But then you realize he has like a towel stuck up at the bottom of the toilet. Did you notice that?
Oh, I actually didn't know.
Yeah, he stuck like a towel at the bottom where it would. Not that stupid. Smart enough to obviously not do that, but he like empties it out and you can hear it sloshing around. But she's gone. She's gone with Lloyd or her. Yeah, Lloyd. So they go back to the hotel room and there's the briefcase. Yay! There's money in it, but probably not. The guy comes along. What's his name? What is his name?
Oh,
the guy in the red suit.
It to Harry now.
I'm going for it. Fuck it, why not? Like
switching it up.
Guy. Who is he?
Yeah, who's the kidnapper guy?
Oh, Andre.
Right, that guy. And he also
pronounced Andre.
Andre Agassi. They open up the briefcase and Lloyd is like, yeah, just as good. IOUs. He's like, oh, my money.
What the hell is this, sir? Where's all the money? That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs.
250,000 for a car. It's like, I'd keep on to that one. So we see Harry then going back to the hotel. Or does he go back to the hotel? Yeah, he goes back to the hotel basically to look for Lloyd. And we see a cut of him coming. Excuse yourself. See a cut of him coming down the stairs, and the black one from the petrol station is down at the end of the stairs going, Harry, you never called me back. And then it cuts to him going into the room. So Harry comes in the room, or Lloyd comes in the room. No, Harry comes in the room. So I'm thinking like Harry Christmas. No, that's not the right one. It's Lloyd Christmas, right?
But Mary, the whole joke before this, like the whole scene before your man comes in the room, before Andre comes in the room, is fucking. That's the whole setup for the scene, where she's in the bathroom. He's in the mirror. He's like, "Merry Christmas." He's got a nice ring to it. Like when he's
Mary, I desperately want to make love to a schoolboy.
Oh, that's before he walks into this. Like that's the whole setup. That's fucking brilliant.
That's is a really good setup. I like that when he's like, I feel as giddy as a schoolboy. I'm in love, and then it's just like it. I like that little kind of, what would you call it?
Freudian slip.
A Freudian slip, right? Oh no, wait. So Harry comes in and gets pushed onto the bed, basically. So, what's your man's name again?
Andre,
the giant. Andre, pointing the gun at everybody and being like, "Okay, I need a flight to Amsterdam," and he wants a vegetarian meal as well.
Yes.
But they're both basically having an argument. Harry and Lloyd are basically having an argument on the bed after discovering that Harry had backstabbed him and taken Mary away for a secret date in the ski lodge. Andre asks which one wants to die first. And they're both like, no, I want to go first. And then Harry goes, yeah, Mary and I went skiing. We made a snowman. She touched my leg. I go, okay, kill him. So he shoots Harry. And then he gets back up again within like pretty much a couple of seconds and is the worst shot ever. Oh, like all the way around him.
Except for he shoots all around your man and never hits your man once. Like with every bullet in the gun.
So good. But then the FBI burst in. Beth Jordan, FBI. And we discover it's actually the one from the petrol station. I like that. I like the way that they were kind of following them all along, trying to suss them out or whatever. That was the most intelligent part of the film, I think. That caught me off. Again, one of those films you kind of forget small little bits. And I like that little payoff in the end. I was like, okay, that's cool. So they rescue the Harry and Lloyd and Mary, put Andre behind bars, and the husband comes back. This is like, actually, I'm going to replace the Kung Fu bit earlier on with the gun bit now, where I love the guy shouts, he goes, he's got a gun! And then it's just like, turns around, Jim Carrey just shoots the husband. Die! 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 And then it's like, Harry, and he's like, oh, look, yeah, hey, this is my husband. I love that bit. I thought that was really good.
So nice to meet you.
I like when films do that, where they don't cut to what it is and they actually make you believe that it's happening and then cut back.
Yeah.
It's again, one of those things that I completely forgot was in the film. I was like, so funny, so good. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the film. Like everybody gets saved. Nobody has to give some money back. No, I don't have the very end yet. I'm saying it's the end of the story. It's not the very end of the movie just yet.
How gosh darn it you.
Gosh darn it. I know what the end of the film is. It's already up. I've already prepped it. But for how much money was there? It was like $1 million, let's say, or whatever. That was in the briefcase.
Oh,
like a bit.
Fuck those.
Yeah, it was like let's say a million or 2 million, whatever it is. They spent all of that money and never had to pay it back. That was okay. That's what I would have liked to see the second film with them being like, yeah, we're still in debt from paying all that back.
Yeah, but you know, Jamie, that would have been an intelligent.
Because
movie.
what I was trying to say earlier about the film is that what really invalidates the start. Let's say this film came out. You were two losers. They are still losers at the end of it because they're so stupid. But there's no progression. The way you're describing the film, effectively, the second one is like they've just taken these two same characters and plonked them in nowadays and said, okay, start again. Whereas if you had some sort of development of characters or something.
Well, the start of the second movie is Jim Carrey's he's in a mental institution for 20 years, apparently, since this movie ended. So he's supposed to be there from when this movie ended, when Mary left him, or when she went after her husband. And he's supposed to be in a mental institution. But the whole joke, the first 5 minutes of the movie is there. Harry has been visiting him for the last 20 years.
You told me about this, I think, yeah.
Every Wednesday. And then it's a big joke. So Jim Carrey's like, I got you. But he has been getting he has a decatheter in. He's been literally a patient to this fucking mental as a joke for 20 years. Which, okay, is kind of funny. Like, they play it very fun. But everything from that point is down fucking hill. They don't, literally, Harry says to Jim at the very start of it, look, it's been 20 years, Lloyd. You got to get over her. Mary Swanson was a blah, blah, blah. But they only mention her once. And that's the only tie to the first film. Nothing else. That's it. There's
such a shame.
It's, you know what, buddy? I think they could have wrote a fucking great movie. They could have wrote something so clever, so funny, and they just didn't do it. They just fucking didn't do it. Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels said themselves, they were asked, what was the script like when they handed it to you? And Jim and Jeff literally say in every interview I've ever watched, well, there was a script, but you know, these things happen. And I'm like, lads, why did you not fucking use? So what you've seen, look, I would recommend you watch it and just tell me your fucking opinion.
I think I'm going to have to, just to see how bad it is, to be honest with you. But thankfully,
I'm going to go.
I say,
thankfully,
there is 2 bits. Rob Riggle. There's the only bits I found funny was the bits with Rob Riggles. They're I won't tell you about it. But Robert Eagle, to me, was the funny. Like, he outshone the two lads because
Yeah.
he's able to move on with comedy to nowadays. When the lads, but it's not as if the lads haven't done fucking movies or acting for the last 20 years. They've been in the limelight. They've been in movies, so they should be able to move with the times. But it's, again, a case of you were handed a script, and my opinion was they thought, we have this legacy behind us, we'll just do what we want anyway. And it didn't. It just
and it never works out like that. And we kind of see that over and over again with most films nowadays that try and look back into the 90s and say, oh, that was a great character, everybody loved it, and they try and do it again, and it's like, no, you've just done a shitty job.
Yeah, but there was not. They did the same jokes, right? The whole Jim Carrey stands at a door of a fucking person's. He says, "You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?" And Jeff Allen says, "What?" And he starts ringing the doorbell really fast. He says, "That's not the most annoying sound in the world." He goes, "No, it's the second one." I'm like, "Oh no, it's just a bad joke." Bad joke.
You've just taken a joke that was funny and then just said, "Oh, people like that. Let's do it again." No,
in doing that, you've ruined it in the original movie. Exactly.
You've ruined those characters. So now when you watch them back in the past, you're like, oh, please don't grow up to be those assholes I see nowadays. We get a lovely ending to this film, though. I appreciate the ending to this film, and it's funny.
Yeah, this ending is really funny.
One part I have a problem with is that why are all the women in bikinis also driving the bus?
Why not? They should be. Women can drive buses too, Jamie.
I don't know, Darren.
How do you know they're driving the bus?
Because when they actually show them looking in the door, there's a woman in a bikini with like probably no shoes on driving the bus. And I'm like, I was expecting when they panned in there to be like a guy sitting there being like delighted with himself.
Your real issue that she probably has no shoes on.
She has no shoes on. How would she drive the bus?
Safety, you know?
I was thinking, Jamie, of myself, where the fuck are her shoes?
Where are her shoes? How irresponsible. I'm glad they didn't get on the bus because that would have crashed. They would have all been dead. Where are your shoes, people?
Get over those no shoes.
So the bus drives up, basically, a load of bikini models. They say, hey, we're looking for 2 oil boys to spend a couple of months on the bus and oil them up. They're like, oh, wow, well, that's pretty good. You'll want to probably find, go down there. There's a town there and there. You'll be able to find 2 guys, no problem. And then Jim Carrey runs up to the bus and he goes, no, it's not that way. It's that way. I explained the joke badly.
You'll have to excuse my friend. He's a little slow. The town is back that way.
And
I thought that was very predictable. Did you not think that was very predictable?
It was very predictable, yeah. But this is a 27-year-old film. So I think it's okay to be predictable when it's more than 2 decades old. Because
I don't think it would have been predictable back then. I think they would have you would have expected at the end of it, because this wasn't the original end to the movie. Do you know what the original end was?
What?
The hotel they were staying in. You know the guy who have his name here. You know the guy who brought him into the hotel. The
little guy with the butler where he keeps tipping him like hundreds of dollars.
He basically brings him to they're leaving the place and they have the bike outside and your man says to him, and it's not as funny really, but again, it just come off as dickheads. He says, you know what, guys, I like you. I'd like to offer you jobs here. There's a spare room there. You don't have to pay rent. Yeah. And they literally start laughing at him. And Jim Carrey says, in your dreams, fuckface. And they drive off. I'm like, what? That's a harsh fucking. Your man looks at the camera and he says, "Oh well," and he walks away. I'm like, no.
I'm glad they didn't do that. Yeah. I'm glad they didn't do that. That would have kind of ruined it a little bit.
Joe Baker's his name, but they just look at him and say, they laugh for a bit. They laugh for prolonged time, and they hug each other. And they look at him and say, in your dreams, fuckface. And I'm like, there was never a fuck or like that in the movie.
No,
you
didn't need it. Didn't need it.
Fucking stupid.
So, fucking fuck faces. So, that was Dumb and Dumber. What a fantastic film. I really enjoyed that. Not as much as I had originally thought that I would have. And so many times have we watched a film and I thought, yeah, I can't wait to watch that film. And then we watched it again and I'm like, oh, yeah, I didn't remember all the bad things about this film.
You have to
There was
wonder,
no bad things.
Like I
really.
said, is it more to do with just having moved on from that type of film, or is it that the film was actually like, because they're films that we would have enjoyed back then.
I think, like, I've watched films back in, like, that I haven't seen in years and still gone, oh, wow, I really enjoyed this because I've missed some bits and I've forgotten that I really enjoyed. But now I watch some films that, mostly comedy films, I think, because comedy has changed significantly since the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, drama really hasn't, horrors really haven't. Like, they've either gone bad or not hit the mark, where comedy has actually changed so much. Like, you could pick up on a joke quicker than it would be in this film.
No, I don't think comedy has changed. I think it just people have fucking it's the youth of today. I don't think I think this comedy, like myself and yourself.
Oh my god, you're starting to sound like Jamie.
You sound so old right there, so I realise that. The youth of today.
Damn you, youth.
No, I just think comedy, if it's good, is good, and that's fucking it. That's just the end of it. Comedy, like, I'm not saying this, but I'm talking about like more from.
No, I mean that's true. I mean, I still watch like older comedians, like what's his name? Tommy Fez.
Tommy.
Oh my god, I didn't think of his name.
Oh, Tommy Cooper. Tommy Cooper.
Tommy Cooper.
Yeah,
you know, he's hilarious.
Yeah, but that's like there's some people that kind of live outside of time in that, because you couldn't do that anymore. I don't think. Well, not with Americans, because it's a lot about.
But I think
there is a very different,
English comedy and American comedy only now starts to cross over, really. And now British comedy, which was once really good and punchy and snappy and quick, has turned into American comedy, which is just a bunch of swear words and a bunch of fart jokes and nonsense.
Look at The Office now. The Office started in England and was great. And then, now I love The American Office. I do love it. But they took it over. Same with The In-Betweeners. The In-Betweeners is fucking brilliant. And then it lasted for 3 or 4 episodes in America. But like, there's a movie that I was going to pick this week. Was Jamie, you've probably seen it. It's called Sunshine Boys. You ever seen it?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh my God, Walter Matthau. It's about these 2 Asian actors who, like, they're in their like fucking late 70s. And Walter Matthau, you know Walter Matthau, right? Both of you do,
Yeah.
Grumpy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. His son is an agent, and they're like basically an old theatre duo, an old Morecambe and Wise for all the world. But he wants them to go on a circuit again. And these 2 guys fucking hate each other. They hate each other, but they agree to work together. But Walter Matthau will only agree to work with your man if your man apologizes for certain things. Your man won't apologize to him because he knows it annoys Walter Matthau. It's a fucking brilliant movie. It's a class movie. I have
to check that out.
Yeah, I'm actually going to pick it from it. That's my next movie. That's my next pick. I promise you, it's just a movie that is so warm to my heart and just makes me laugh so much. It's a really old classic. George Burns.
Like Walter Matthau, yeah.
It's fucking. To me, it's as good as, it's so cleverly fucking written. They're just 2 comedy guys and they just hate each other and they have to work together. But obviously, it goes up.
It's kind of like the opposite of this film, then, where it's like, 2 funny guys that kind of get along with each other. But yeah,
I'll pick that next. That's my next.
We'll do our reviews now.
Okay.
Drum roll, please. I will give this 6 ass pens and a cap out of 10.
What? So what is that? Is that 8? Is that 6.5? Do you say
That's
6.5 for Dumb and Dumber?
Yes, for this movie, I will give this 6.5 points. I'm sorry, Darren.
I've never been so ashamed of you and so
I couldn't.
I'm going to give, dude, you know what? Because it made me so happy, because I have such fond memories, it's no surprise I'm going to give this 10 Samsonites out of 10 Samsonites.
You're going to 10 out of 10?
I've only given 2.
There you go. Dumb and Dumber is on a par with It's a Wonderful Life.
No!
You know, Dumb and Dumber, to me, is a wonderful life, Derry. It's a wonderful life watching Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, very good. Derry.
I had a wonderful life growing up watching this movie.
I'm giving it 6 pigeon heads out of 6, or budgie heads out of 6 budgie heads.
6 budgie heads and maybe a feather that's kind of little blood on it.
And that was a lot of thinking and a lot of adding a couple more points after I thought a bit harder about it.
I think you actually talked me down from a 7, Darren, after talking about the second one. I had to take that into consideration now, to be honest with you. There is...
If you watch the second one and the prequel, have you seen the prequels? Any...
Like the Dumb and Dumber trilogy? No, I haven't even... Oh, there's a Waterford company in that, though. Slushy.
If you watch... Yeah, fucking Slushy. If you watch the prequel... Yeah, but Mick Daniels, who actually is from Waterford, who I've talked about this, Mick actually got asked. He was at home one day and he got a call off the company that do Dumb and Dumber or whatever it was, whatever that fucking place that burnt to hell is. Yeah. They offered him. They rang him and they said, "Look, we'd like to use your product in them because Slush Puppy wouldn't use them. They didn't want their product to be used in the movie, so Slushy wanted. Same as Glee, they used it, but he was He was literally sitting down having a pint in a pub, and he was like, when they rang him, they're like, we'd like to use your product, you know. He said, Graham, fuck off and stop ringing, will you? I was like, so I started laughing, and he was like, no, I thought he was his brother-in-law, Graham. He was like, so they rang him back then. They were like, no, he's a Graham. I have Jasmine's number. If you fucking ring me again, I want to tell her. So I put down the phone. I was like, tell her what, Mick? He was like, I can't tell you. I was like, okay. Then they rang him back the next day and they were like, no, this is who, like the manager of the business, whoever the company was, rang because they wouldn't believe the secretary. He was like, oh, I thought it was someone taking a piss. He thought it was someone making fun. He was like, no. So he went over and he was there while they were filming the show. And then I had to do, like Mick did some sort of film up in his house and I was there and I was chatting to him with him. And he loves Dumb and Dumber. He loves the movie. And he said, when he saw, he said, I was happy to get the money and happy to be there. He said, but when I saw what they were doing with the movie, he said, I left a week early. Oh my God. He was like, he goes, it was horrible. He said it was terrible. He goes, the acting, the whole production was run horribly. He said he had talked to the whole cast. Like, and I said, that's okay, buddy. The whole fucking film was terrible. It was shockingly bad.
Well, the guy that actually played Harry and Lloyd actually really looked like the characters. Like, they actually got two...
They didn't at all.
They kind of did now.
No, Jamie, that was a lot of fucking... If you watch that movie again, you see how... It was a lot of... Oh, no.
Anyway. Well, on average, this film gets a 7 from the three of us. So, Darren, your 10 did nothing.
No, my 10 did everything. Screw the boaty. Mock. Yeah.
Ing. Yeah. Bird.
If you watch the sequel, you'll give it a higher rating. Trust me.
Okay, well, I'll watch the sequel, and then I'll come back and then re-review on a later date.
Yes.
I could give it a lower one. I could give it a 5.
Fair. I think every movie should be classed as its own movie and not taken as a whole. It should be taken as its own thing.
Yes, and that's a good way to review.
Movies influence my judgment on this movie.
I'm not objective. I'm horribly biased, and yeah. Well, see, Derry's reviews are honest. Mine are horribly biased, and Darren's are all 10s. So,
fuck you.
So, thank you so much again for joining us this week. Next week, we're going on a little bit of a hiatus. Very hiatus. So next week, we won't be here on the Sunday. We'll be here the Sunday after. What date is that, Derry?
The 7th of February.
The 7th of February. Yes, so the week after next, the Sunday after next. So join us in the new month of February for some lovely, lovely more reviews. I won't announce my pick just yet. We'll be announcing on our social networks on Sunday. This Sunday. I'm not going to announce it. No, I don't want to give people 2 weeks to watch a film. That's unfair. Join the social networks.
2 weeks to watch this film.
Subscribe, and then you'll know what film we're watching. There you go. I'm going to do a close-up of the art cam, but I really hope I added people's mics back into this. I did. Oh, no, wait. No, it's just me. Hello, everybody. No, that didn't work out correctly. Forget it.
Did you?
It's just me talking now. Yeah, well, everybody can see the lovely picture in the middle of the screen, but that will also be up on our Instagram. What a fabulous picture that Derry has drawn for us today. And again, one that I wouldn't have expected, but I think it's fantastic. So You're saying there's still a chance, or there's a chance? I love it. Thank you so much again for joining us this week. We will see you on the 7th of February. In the meantime, respect each other, watch some good films, and don't watch... And tell us about them, but don't watch the second one of this. I'll do that for you guys, and I'll report back. Thanks very much, everybody. We'll talk to you soon, the week after next. Bye!